What's going on, YouTube? Brian back with Rust and Beards. Um, so today's episode, or this week's episode, or this next episode, maybe 1 week, maybe 2 weeks, I don't really know. We're going to work on connecting the steering, and we're going to work on the brakes on this old girl here. So the first thing is the rack and pinion steering, which is down there. Let me show that. So we got to get the tie rod ends, or I'm sorry, the inner tie rod ends on both sides. Before I do that, they're right here, but I got to get the boots for those. I've got new bushings for those. And then the next thing we're going to do is the brake master cylinder. This is a single pot master cylinder. Not very effective. They're can be considered dangerous, just simply because if something were to happen to this line right here, then you lose all brakes. Or if the single reservoir was to go out, then you lose everything. So we're going to do that. I've got to run new lines when I do that. I'm going to keep manual brakes just for the ease of everything. I don't want to mess with the brake booster and those kinds of things. But so I do have to run new lines. I'm looking for a brake master cylinder that's got the master cylinder and the proportioning valve and everything plugged into it. That way all I got to do is run the lines, and I can just plug in my brake switch. It's a pressure switch. Couple other things I'm going to probably try to do on this episode just to kind of fill time while I'm waiting on parts, things like that, is the radiator. I think I mentioned in a previous video. If not, I'll come around this side. I'll show everybody. I don't know if you could see that very well or not, but the radiator is really close to the engine as far as the water pump. I don't know, it's hard to see in there without light, but so we're going to try to work on that a little bit, try to pull the radiator back that way just a little bit. But then, yeah, so this is going to be kind of a filler episode, I guess. A lot of crucial stuff is going to get done. Kind of buttoning up some things on the suspension. I'm going to go and put the coil springs on there. I'm going to probably do that off camera. I'm running an adapter for a bolt pattern difference between the Jaguar and then the F-100 bolt pattern. So I want to take each lug off of that and then Loctite it and make sure they're good and torqued down. Yeah, and then after that, honestly, we're basically going to start working. I got to get a gas tank for the thing, and then get the seat, and then get a carburetor, and then we're going to be rocking and rolling with this. So with that said, let's get to it. So I just want to explain what I'm going to be doing in this next little bit of videos. So on this side, I want to show you guys real quick. If you could come in, the brake hose actually came right to the frame, and there's an existing hole in the frame, and it allowed it to just bolt right up. Super simple. However, for the other side, Ford had this bracket. Don't really know why, but it was designed to have a hole where you slid this in the hole, and then the hose comes into here. I don't have the ability, because I boxed in the other side. Excuse me, I boxed in the other side of the frame, so I don't have the ability to come in here. If I try to screw this in or bolt it in or whatever, I don't have the ability to come to the other side of that because it's like completely boxed in. And so what I'm going to end up doing, I don't have a nut setter. I don't have a anything to be able to create a threaded insert. And part of this channel is make do with what you have. I could go buy that tool, but again, I don't have it, so I'm going to make do with what I have. So a workaround would be, and what I'm going to do is weld up the bolt hole, grind it down flat with the frame, go ahead and set this in there and do a rosette weld right here. So in essence, I'm basically going to mimic what would be like a rivet. And some Ford models had these bolted in. Some of them actually had them riveted in. So it really is no different than how it would have came from the factory. Problem number two with this mount is my brake hose, the nut on the backside of my brake hose, this hole is too large of a diameter. So I've either got to find like a washer that could fit in here to where I could go ahead and it'll reduce the diameter of that hole, or I've got to sit there and weld all this up, grind it down, and then re-drill it. So I got to figure that out. So just want to kind of give you guys a heads up. That's what I'm going to be doing on this next segment of videos. The poor Vice has seen better days. It's one of the things that I'm going to have to get whenever I get a chance. I don't even have a real table to set it on. I've literally got some 3/16 metal that I'm using to cut. And they're on sawhorses. And that's my shop table at the moment. So it's all right though. It gets the job done. So let's see, how am I going to do this without burning myself? Groove. Probably just go in like so, hold that right there, and just tickety tack it in. What's the worst that can happen? Or could I hold it in with this? Probably not. Like something like that. It's not really wondering how this is working out. I need to get a new tip for this thing. It's no good. It'll have to do for now. That didn't work. It's getting there. So probably have to drill it out a little bit more. I mean, literally, this is not holding any weight. It's literally just so something could go in there. I'll test fit it after it cools down and see what that looks like. Okay, so this is the other end of the cable. This is what I welded up, and it's not gonna fit quite. That's okay. I just got to drill this out a little bit, and then we should be good to go on this. So let me go ahead and do that real quick. And then, like I mentioned, I don't know if you can, let's get you pulled up here. This goes right here, and then I'm going to tack it right there. This will go in there just like so. Obviously bolted up, and we should be good to go. So I do have to, hey, look, I wish it was that easy. Huh. Anyways, I do have to grind this down, weld this up, and then cut this in there, and then weld that up. So let me go and do that real quick since I've got the welder all hooked up and ready to go, and we'll go from there. It's hot. It's like 9 o'clock at night and it's still 100 degrees almost. It's stupid. Let's see where I can get this to get a good ground. I'm not digging it. All right, hold on. Since I got to repaint a section of this anyways, I'll just go ahead. That right there. So those of you that work in your shops in this hot temperatures, what times of day or night do y'all work in the shop? Y'all typically wait till it's like super late, or do you wait or just tough it out? Yeah, that's what I thought. All right. So now I gotta grind that down and then weld it. I should have left that there. Oh well. Weld in the tab after I drill it. All right. So I don't know if you can see that because of the awesome lighting I have in here. Let me bring you in closer, and I'll turn this light off and I'll substitute it with this light. Okay, so now that that's welded up, this piece here, once I drill it to the appropriate size, I'll go in just like that and I'll tack it in place. Just do a little rosette weld right there. Should be good to go. I'll go ahead and paint all this back, run my brake line, or brake hose at least, call that good until I go on the top side and do that. And then I'll move on to the rack and pinion, which I will probably do that tomorrow night, just because, like I said, it's a sauna in here. So, but I think I'm going to go and drill that one piece out just to get it ready to go. So all I have to do is weld it and be done with that part. So, you know, I kind of make comments about this vise, but I was thinking back as I was coming back over here to use it. I think that this vise has been with me since like the 90s. So, and I don't honestly know. I think it's like a Craftsman. Yeah, it's Craftsman. So like, it's definitely done its services here. All right, let's see if I can mess this up. That might just do it right there. It wasn't much. Let's go take a look. Bam. We are cooking with kerosene. So again, this is going to go just like so. Obviously I have a walk washer on both sides. I might put a flat washer on that side too, just because I can. So let's get to it. I've got a couple things going against me here. Kind of being a little lazy in the fact that I didn't really clean this up too well. So I'm hoping it'll get a good enough bare metal there to go ahead and leave a good weld. I'm by no means a good welder. I used to be a decent welder. I used to actually be a pretty good little stick welder. Never really messed around with MIG too much until just a few years ago. And so I'm learning on that. And then not long ago, not to give you guys too much information, but I had a medical condition and actually got partial blindness in my right eye. And that was my dominant eye, like, you know, firing weapons and, you know, things like that. So also welding. So I had to kind of retrain myself how to weld a little bit. Not a huge deal, but it's kind of like, you know, you never know until you have to do without a thing what you're going to do without the thing. So I say all that stuff because that's my way of asking for some grace from you all, especially the keyboard warriors who have watched videos on people welding and think that they're experts at it. But seriously though, like if you are a pro welder, go easy on a fella. All right. that ain't going nowhere. And like I said earlier, that is close to factory. From the factory, they either welded those in, I'm sorry, riveted them in, or bolted them in. And when you rivet something in, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's equally as hard to get it out. Let me go ahead and shed some light on the subject here from the camera. Turn this one off so you get a different, actual true look at it. So, yep, there you go. So like I said, it'll go right through there. I'm not going to do that tonight just because I got to round up the bolts and the washers. But like I said, yeah, it's still warm, but it'll go in just like that. So of course I'm turned way full stop right now. So should be good to go. Hey guys. So in the effort to save a little bit of money, I'm going to attempt to clean the original gas tank that I had for the truck. This thing is, it had been redone at some point prior to me getting it, but it got, if you come over here, right down in there, I kind of put some putty on it. It got pinholes for rust. Looking down inside this thing, so the original plan was I was going to put on the back of the under the bed, I was going to put a gas tank like that of a Mustang. It's a real popular thing that a lot of the F-100 guys do. It gets the tank out of the cab, but a little extra time. I didn't have the ability to lift my bed just because I'm so tight in here. So I didn't want to delay the project anymore. So I figured, you know what, I'm going with the traditional build anyway, so I might as well just stick with traditional and put it back in the cab. The big concern is the gas that was in there it tarnished, and the pinhole. So my concern was, if it's got a pinhole there, does it have a pinhole anywhere else? So we're going to take a look at it and then see if we need to clean it, or if I could just maybe do like some rust reformer or something and call it good. But let's come take a look at this. So, sorry, I'm trying to just get it. It's not terribly bad. Honestly, it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. It's been sealed before. That's my only concern, is it going to flake? There are some spots down there. So I might go ahead and, probably not tonight because we're running out of daylight. But I wanted to kind of introduce this part of this segment. I know this wasn't really something we talked about necessarily, but the challenge that I'm running into with making these videos is I'm getting more work done before the parts can get here to then do more work. So I'm having to kind of like shift gears a little bit. So if I mentioned in the beginning of this video that we're doing the brakes and the steering, we might be able to get that done on this episode, but I'm having to do some filler stuff, which I think I kind of mentioned at the beginning of the episode. So this is that filler stuff I was talking about. So might do electrolysis in the tank. Not really sure if this really warrants it, but for sure I will do like maybe some rust reformer or something down in there, some rust dissolve chemical. Because I mean, it's $200 for the tank, or I could do something and maybe $40, $50 and call it good. So let's just see where we could go with it. So got done with the brake hose, or basically all I can do with the brake hose until I get the master cylinder. Hopefully that'll be here in a few days and I can run the lines, the metal lines, and then go ahead and connect those to the hoses, and then call that done. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the rack and pinion. I'm waiting on the boots to come in. I'll hopefully have those tomorrow, and then I'll be able to put the boots on. But in the meantime, I'm going to put the inner tie rods on. Wanted to tell you guys a cool little tool if you ever have to mess with these rack and pinions. This thing's kind of a lifesaver. It's basically, it's this tube here, and it slides in. Of course, you slide it in over the actual tie rod itself, the inner tie rod, and it's got these little insert pieces that they're designed to hook onto here. Of course, they got all kinds of different sizes here. So you hook onto here, and then this slides in, this hooks into that, and then you go ahead and torque it down like you need to. But I'm going to go ahead and get this hooked in, get it started. Let's see here. Okay, so this little tab, these little pieces on this tab, you just hammer them down, and then they kind of keep it from backing off. That's one thing I'll say about Jaguar, is they're good with their safety stuff. Like, I've never really messed with the Jaguar front end too terribly much, other than the one other time that I started that install, but I never finished that install because I sold the suspension. I don't know if I actually told you guys that or not. I had started another mid-60s truck. It was actually a 65, but I never ended or never finished that install because I sold the truck before I had a chance to finish it. But what I was going to say was they're real big on safety. Like, it's the only brake caliper that I've ever messed with that actually has the holes into the head of the nut, so you can, or the head of the bolt, so you can run safety wire. Kind of like a lot of your aircraft equipment use. So that's kind of cool. Now maybe that's a European thing, and I'm just not used to it, but I thought it was cool. Okay, so I could have used the crescent wrench, but I mean, I have it, so I might as well use it. It's a lifesaver if it's actually in the car. So we're going to go and reposition. I got to put the bushings in real quick, and then I'll get underneath the truck and get it in the car. Okay, guys, so we switched to putting on the bushings here. They pretty much go in by hand, but they also kind of come out on their own too, so go this way with it. Not putting a lot of force, just enough to persuade, more than my fingers can do anyways. These are called, I think, like, they're like a urethane or I don't know, Nova thing. I don't know what they're called. Hold on. NOLA thing. I'll have to cinch them down whenever I go to put them in because they keep wanting to bounce out. But they're really easy to get in. A lot easier than I was anticipating. Have I mentioned I hate not having a table to work on things? It's going to be a future thing we got to fix. All right, so they're in. I mean, they keep wanting to poke out, but they're in as good as they're going to be in until such time that we put them in the actual mounts and get them in. So next we're gonna get them in. Hopefully we'll get the boots on, and then we'll get the outer tie rods on. And then the next steps, which again I'm waiting on parts, is aligning with the steering linkage, and then the brake master cylinder. And then I'm going to take another look at that tank. The concern that I have is that the sealant, or when it was previously sealed, has started to flake off, and I can't risk that jumping up into the fuel line. So it looked like it might have been. So unfortunately, I don't know that that's going to work for us. So we'll just have to take a look at it again and kind of go from there. I'm also going to do a little research to see if there's a chemical that maybe I could put in the tank that will dissolve that sealant or make it more pliable, and then I don't know. So we'll see what we could do with that, and then we'll keep driving on. Messing with grease is between this and anti-seize, it's a close battle as to which one's the messiest. Okay, so this is the rack and pinion in the vehicle. Let me just tell you, if you've never wrangled a rack and pinion steering assembly on the ground, yeah, you're missing out. Couple of things that I'm noticing, and I don't know, I need to kind of look at this. So first off, I've got everything kind of loose here because I still have to, I don't know if you can see right there, the shaft. I've got to still connect that. I got to get the steering connection. But I don't know if it's picking it up on camera, but it almost feels like it's angled down. And I got to research that. I don't know. I did tear the rack and pinion apart. I have the ability to loosen this set screw. This whole thing will like rotate, but I don't know. I mean, it's mounted in there, so I'm gonna have to do a little bit of research on that. But I mean, it turns. Everything's good. I've hooked some pliers up to the splines and got it to turn. I am probably next steps is going to go ahead and just put the springs back in here, and then get the wheels and tires on it, and then we're going to drive on with the brakes next. I'm still waiting on some parts, so that may delay this video, but I want to research this rack and pinion. If you know, if I come up with a solution or realize that maybe it's just the way it is, then but it just doesn't seem right. It seems like it should be straight across. So yeah, I just need to research that a little bit. I can tell you one thing: if I've got to pull this thing back off, I'm just going to go ahead and burn the whole truck to the ground, because this is no joke. I've done several of them while they've been on racks, but I've never had to wrestle one under the ground, like on the ground like this. So that's for the birds. But all right, I'll keep you posted if I make changes. And otherwise, the next part of this video that you'll probably see me cutting into will be the master cylinder brake stuff. All right, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and end the video without the master cylinder replacement portion of it. I'm still waiting on the master cylinder. I still have to take the old master cylinder off. I don't know if you can see that back there. You know, I'm trying to stick to 30-minute videos for now until I get some views going and some subscribers going. The hope is I can get caught up, or not caught up, but ahead. So then I could actually kind of put more time toward doing like hour-long videos. You know, so, but right now, especially with the heat, it's pretty brutal to be in the garage. I mean, I'm literally having to take like 10 minutes in, take a break, get some water, another 10 minutes in. And when you video, obviously that delays things because you got to set things up. And I'm not even running like multiple cameras, doing multiple angles, that kind of thing. Couple things about that. I absolutely plan on getting more lights in here. I want to get more equipment when it comes to maybe some cameras to do different angles. And I want to be able to provide you guys a little bit better viewing experience. I'm learning as we progress in this. Obviously, the hope is the videos will get better, maybe more entertaining. I'll get a little bit better with not rambling like I'm doing now. But so anyways, I appreciate you guys who have watched the videos and then the other videos. I appreciate you guys so much for watching. Please consider subscribing. Let's grow the channel. Tell your friends. Like I said, this is just the base line right here. We're gonna go from there. Like we're gonna do some pretty fun stuff, I think. But ultimately, again, I want to be transparent with you guys with the challenges that I have, because I feel like it's a lot of challenges that you guys might have. Case in point is, you know, just talking with my wife earlier. Like, I don't really know what project or vehicle I'm going to have next, and I don't know exactly how I'm going to be able to make that work. So it'll be interesting, but we will do it. I don't plan on getting rid of this truck, so whatever project we end up with might actually be this motorcycle right here. I'll show you this. That is a Suzuki 750. It's what they call, it's a TSCC. It's a twin swirl combustion chamber. I've got the engine. I played around with the frame. I don't know if you can see that right there, just kind of playing around. That's a Honda CB 750 frame. And just kind of played around with it. Was kind of trying to make like almost like a rat bike. But I don't know. You know, that would be something that would allow me to still have the truck in here, still be able to provide some cool content, something different. Get rid of that bike, maybe bring another bike in. I don't really know. You know, I mean, let's just see what happens. Anyways, I appreciate you guys so much, and like, subscribe, share, hit the notification button, all the things. We'll catch you on the next one.